Start off today, it should take about 8 minutes. Do your warm-up. When the 8 minutes go off, go ahead and continue watching as I go over the warm-up. So, number one, trying to get x by itself. -6, so we have to do the inverse operation, which is add 6 to both sides. -6 plus 6 cancels out. -40 plus 6 in a calculator is going to say -34, and that is x. Number two, 2 pencils for 79 cents each. 79 cents plus another 79 cents plus $12 equals, in our calculator, 79 cents plus 79 cents plus $12. Our subtotal is $13.58. We're going to apply 6% sales tax to that, so times 6%. Gives us 81 cents as our tax. Tax is an additional fee, $13.58 plus the additional tax. Gives us $14.39. Answer choice D. Number three, scale factor. Most important thing is that we locate the scale. 50 half inch, 0.50 inches is 1 foot. And we want to see how many inches would a 10.5 foot deck be. So again, we start with our ticket, inches over feet. We build our ratio, 0.50 over 1 equals 10.5 feet. Well, I have feet in my bottom, so I'm going to put 10.5 down there. X is my variable to solve for. Again, just like yesterday, all you have to do is cross multiply. You get 1x, which is our goal to get x by itself. Cross multiply in a calculator, 0.50 times 10.50 or 10.5 gives us 5.25, or if you left it as a fraction, 5 1/4. So either answer is acceptable, 5.25 or 5 1/4. Number three, combine some like terms. Again, using our calculator, we have a -12x minus 6x, so -12 minus 6 gives us -18x. Then we have +4 minus 9. 4 minus 9 in a calculator is going to say -5, -5a. Again, you could have it rewritten the other way, -5a minus 18x. Either answer would be acceptable. All right, next slide. Take about 1 minute. You're going to put these from least to greatest. So which one is the least likely to happen to the most likely to happen? Take a second, pause the video, put them in order, press play when you have them. All right, putting them in order from least to greatest. The least likely that is going to happen is the chance that you win the lottery. The next least likely to happen would be a 1 in 10 chance of winning a bingo game. The third least likely would be rolling a 5 on a dice. The next least likely would be 80% chance of rain. And then the one that is most likely to occur, because it's absolutely certain, would be Monday follows Sunday. So again, smallest chance, winning bingo is the second least, rolling a 5, the third least, 80%, the second greatest, Monday follows Sunday, 100% chance that happens. Next slide, take about 3 minutes. Cross multiply, solve all your variables. Again, press pause. When you're ready, press play to check over your work. So top left, 5 times x, 5x. 1 times 100, 100. Have to divide each side by 5 to get x by itself. X equals 20. Top right. Again, first step, cross multiply. 5 times n, 5n. 4 times 400 is 1600. Divide each side by 5. Again, in a calculator, 1600 divided by 5 is 320. N is the same as 320. Bottom two. Bottom left, again, cross multiplying first step, 6 times n, 6n. 1 times 360 is 360. Just like all of them, I'm dividing by my coefficient, divide by 6, n equals 60. And last one. Again, cross multiplying 2 times x gives me 2x. 1 times 450 is 450. Dividing by my coefficient 2, x equals 225. This is a great lead-in to today's lesson. We're going to talk about relative frequency. We're going to use proportions and ratios and kind of meet it with probability. So the next couple slides are going to be models. Any of the ones that have model sitting there are ones that you can just continue, press pause, and make sure you're copying down good notes. So a carnival owner is running a game. To win the game, the contestant must spin the color orange. Keep note, orange is the color we're looking for. We want to see if 200 people play the game, how many would win? So first thing we have to do in these problems is figure out what's the probability of just winning the game in general. Well, in this spinner, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different sections. So we know that the probability that we get any spot would be something out of 8. We want to see orange. Well, I see 1 orange, I see 2 oranges. That means the probability that you win this carnival game would be a 2 out of 8. But instead of only 8 people or 8 chances in winning, we want to see if there was 200 people. There's 2 ways we could do this. The most easiest way is to set up a ratio or a proportion. What we want over the total. Well, we don't know how many people we'd want to win out of 200, but we know that there's a total of 200. So again, we want to see how many winners would there be if there was 200 spins instead of there being 2 winners out of 8. Again, once we have this set up, we can cross multiply and solve for our variable. So again, 8 times x gives me 8x. 2 times 200 is 400. Divide each side by our coefficient 8. X would have to equal 50. That means that we could expect 50 winners out of 200 attempts, just like we could expect 2 winners out of 8 attempts. The second way we could do this is still to find the probability of the event. But now they're asking us out of 200 times. And again, if we think about what that word times means, we know that means multiplication. So I could also take 2a's and in my calculator times it by the number of new rolls, and we would find the same exact answer of 50. Either strategy will work for almost all your classwork and problems today. So again, you can always set up a ticket, what we want over the total, what we want over the total, cross multiply and solve, or a shortcut, we find the probability, we think to ourselves, okay, they want the winners, so times 200. Again, go to the next one. A student is rolling a dice with the faces labeled 1 through 6. So again, I already know what my probability is out of. They're giving me the numbers 1, 2, 3.
Miss Paul, please contact the main office. Miss Paul, please contact the main office.
We have the 6 numbers on a dice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And they want to say, what's the probability that if we rolled it 400 times, we would get the probability of a 5. Well, on my dice, there is 1 5 out of 6 choices. So I know that the probability of winning that carnival game would be a 1 in 6 chance. And again, they want to see how many times if we rolled 400 times. So again, what we want over the total. Well, we don't know how many times we'd want out of 400 total rolls. Again, same strategies apply. 6 times x, 6x. 1 times 400 equals 400. Divide by our coefficient 6. 400 divided by 6 gives me about 66.6 repeating. And again, I can't have a 1 or 2/3 of a person, so I'd have to say about 67 winners. I could say 66 if I was confused, but we just can't have a fraction answer. Again, the alternative way that we can solve this problem using the same thing, we find out what the probability is, we multiply it by the number of times, it will give us the same exact answer. Either strategy will work today. Very last example before you try a couple on your own. We're given a table or a chart here. It surveyed the type of favorite foods. So people could have chose lasagna, pizza, tacos, Takis, or chicken. The number of people that responded next to it. Based on the table shown above, about how many would be expected to choose tacos, so we're looking for tacos, as their favorite food if 400 people were surveyed. Well, if I look at this survey, there's no way that these numbers add up to 400. So the first thing, I know I'm looking for tacos. So I know that what I want, there's 12 people that chose tacos, but I have to think to myself, how could I find out the total number of people that are surveyed? 21, 9, 12, 15, and 18. Well, I could add these together. When you add them together, you'll find out that there's 75 people that are surveyed. So the probability that they get tacos is 12 out of 75, but now they want to know if there was 400 people surveyed, how many people could expect to pick tacos. Again, same strategy works. 75 times x is 75x. 12 times 400 in my calculator is 4,800. Again, I'm going to isolate x by dividing by my coefficient. So I'm going to divide each side by the number 75. 4,800 divided by 75 is 64 people. Again, if you wanted to take the fraction probability of the event occurring and multiply it times the total, that will absolutely give you the same exact answer of 64. At this point, we're going to go to the next set of questions. There's 3 of them, 1, 2, and on the bottom there'll be the third one. You should take about 8 minutes to solve these. When you have all 8 done, unpause the video, check your work. When you're done, raise your hand so that the substitute can give you today's classwork, doing the exact same thing on our classwork. If you finish that early, you're more than welcome to work on this week's homework as well. So, after you've done all 3 problems and about 8 minutes has gone by, here's the answers for the classwork to get checked off before you do your worksheet today. A person rolls a dice 175 times, so I know the new total. How many times should a person expect to get the number 5? Again, we have the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 on a dice. We want the probability we get a 5. There is 1 5 out of 6 choices. We want to see how many people out of 175. Cross multiply, 6 times x, 6x. 1 times 175 is 175. Divide each side by the coefficient 6. 175 divided by 6 is 29 people. You get a decimal, but we'll keep it close to 29. Number 2, using the spinner shown. To win a game at a carnival, a person must spin the orange segment. If the people play the game about, or 400 people play the game, about how many will win? Well, I know that there's 1 orange segment here, and there's 3 total. So I know that the probability that you win this game 1 time would be a 1 in 3 chance. 1 orange, 3 segments. Now we want to see if instead of spinning it just 3 times, how many people could we expect to win out of 400? Again, what we're looking for over our totals. Cross multiply, 3 times x, 3x. 1 times 400 is 400. Divide each side by 3, the coefficient. X equals 400 divided by 3 is approximately 133. Again, you get a decimal, but we're going to keep it to a whole number, 133. And very last question to get your classwork. Again, we have a table. The first thing I might want to think to myself, well, what are we trying to find? We're trying to find chicken. So here's my answer that represents chicken. There are 200 people that are surveyed. This looks like the exact same survey. So again, if I added all these numbers up, I should get 75 again. How many people chose chicken? 18 people. Now we want to see how many people we don't know chose out of 200 choices. Cross multiply, 75 times x, 75x. 18 times 200, 3,600. Dividing each side by my coefficient, 75. Again, in my calculator, 3,600 divided by 75 gives me approximately 48 people that I could expect out of 200. At this point, you can raise your hand, turn in your notes, and grab a classwork. Again, if you get that finished today, you're more than welcome to work on your weekly homework.